Hello and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, it's a new beginning for residents of Borno State as government reopens Dikwa Road, formerly a major route for insurgents in the northeast. Trouble looms in the oil sector as oil workers again threaten to embark on strike over welfare issues and non-passage of petroleum industry bill. Protesters again take to the streets in Ekiti State, accuse Governor Fayose of holding onto their salaries, an allegation the state refutes. And it's an all-female race in the UK as Theresa May and Andrea Leadsom lead in the race to become Prime Minister.
On business news tonight, Shell Nigeria resumes export of Bonny light crude oil from local terminal.
And in sports news, Serena Williams battled Angelique Kerber at Wimbledon in a rematch of the Australian Open final.
We begin tonight with good news from the northeastern Nigeria, where the Nigerian army is celebrating its successful counterinsurgency operations as it reopens the Dikwa Gamboro Road in Borno State. The 138-kilometer road was shut down 2 years ago following terror attacks by Boko Haram insurgents in the area. In a ceremony marking the end of this year's Army Day celebration, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, declared the road safe for civilian passage. This road connects Nigeria to Central and North Africa and is considered a strategic route for economic development in the northeast. The Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has commended the soldiers for their efficiency and commitment to rebuilding communities ravaged by terrorists.
The scene of last year's ambush of the Chief of Army Staff's convoy, the Maiduguri-Mafa Dikwa Gamboro Ngala Road in Borno State, which connects Nigeria to Central and North Africa. Considered a strategic commercial route, it had previously been under the control of insurgents. Now it's being reopened for civilian use following successful mop-up operations by the army.
The terrorists know the importance of this road. They will try by all means to get hold of this road so that they will be able to fly from the Sambisa forest up to the Lake Chad waters and across to Niger and some parts of Cameroon and Chad. Therefore, we, as it is now, have regained and recovered this area, and it is time for us to get it busy.
The protracted closure of the highway had almost crippled Borno State's commercial supply lines. Governor Kashim Shettima is grateful for the role of the Nigerian armed forces towards its reactivation.
Tons of words cannot adequately convey our depth of gratitude to the Nigerian army, to all the security agencies, to the civilian JTF, and most importantly, to two of the major dramatists personnel, General Tukur Yusuf Buratai and President Muhammadu Buhari.
This road, the contribution is going to make to stabilizing the entire Northeast and by extension, the economy of Nigeria and those of the Central African Republic. We want to say that it is an occasion that will also help to solidify the already existing security ambience that has enabled socio-economic activities to thrive in the state.
The day's activity is rounded off with a medical outreach providing free treatment for internally displaced persons in the Dikwa camp, as well as the launch of a solar-powered borehole for their use. The Army Chief also hosts the residents at a lunch to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr.
6 weeks after the internally displaced persons from Mon Council Ward in Kwande local government area of Benue State protested the occupation of their land by armed herdsmen since 2013, help is yet to come for them. However, the IDPs, numbering over 35,000, who are currently taking refuge in Jato, Aka, and other neighboring communities, insist on returning to their ancestral home to cultivate their land. This next report takes a look at the plight of the IDPs and the risk they face amid the continued occupation of their land by herdsmen.
The writing on the board says it all. October 23rd was the last time classes were held in the school located in Mon District, Kwande local government area of Benue State. According to the residents, the Catholic Mission School was destroyed and vandalized by the herdsmen, who they say have turned the school premises to a grazing reserve. It's double jeopardy for the students who've been displaced from their homes and their school. The future is bleak as they've not been able to write examinations since 2013. The community is totally deserted, including hospitals and churches. Residents of Abaji, also in Kwande, have fled their community for the same reasons. But this widow dares the consequences and has returned with her family to cultivate her farmland.
We now go from Jatoka. You never stay here. Now we come back. You want plant cassava, guinea corn, yam.
Many others do not have Mercy's courage, but long to go home.
We are not yet back. We only came there because we don't have any option than to come back and stay. We are on our own, in short. There's no place to farm, even though we go, all those cattle layers, they don't allow us, because immediately when you farm, 2 to 3 days, they'll come and clear everything.
Majority of the indigents are scattered in neighboring communities and lack the numerical strength to force their safe return.
When we have problem with these cattle herdsmen, we reported to the soldiers. They say no, they are not soldiers to walk along in the bush. They are only to stay there, so they don't go and see what destruction the Fulani men cause in our farms. So we are not really comfortable.
The federal government we plead with him to come and study things, to find out the realities on the ground and make a demarcation of the land so that there will be no further crisis. Otherwise, we believe this will persist.
The state government is adding its voice to their plight.
It is unfortunate that the herdsmen are not allowing our people to go back to farm. It is a very big challenge to me as governor of the state and who depend on farming in the state. I want to still repeat that as far as I know and I understand, the way out of this quagmire is for us to ranch our cattle.
Beside the federal government intervention required to restore peace in this area and reconstruction work to make the communities more habitable, an appeal has gone out to the National Boundary Commission to address the age-long dispute between Mon and Kashimbila in Taraba State, a situation which the herdsmen allegedly took advantage of.
Let's come further south now. Members of the All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State have staged a peaceful protest in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, in support of the president's anti-corruption crusade. Speaking to newsmen during the rally, the publicity secretary of the party, Mr. Taiwo Olatubosun, alleged that Governor Ayo Fayoshi is holding onto Ekiti workers' salaries in his private accounts. Reacting to the protest, the special assistant to the governor, Lere Olainka, said he's fully in support of the fight against corruption, only if the fight proves to be free and fair.
Decided today again to identify with the suffering masses of Ekiti. We have decided today again to identify with the suffering workers of Ekiti. We have decided again to identify with the students of the higher institution that are paying exorbitant fees in their schools. We have decided again to identify with innocent pupils in in primary schools and nursery schools across Ekiti that are being made to pay tax even at their adolescent age. We want to say again that we will continue with this rally. We will continue with this mobilization until we get to the root of putting stop to corruption that is happening in Ekiti.
I support their agitation, their protests in support of the president's anti-corruption stand. I've said this before. I am 100% in support. If they had invited me, I would have joined them
to also rally in support of Buhari anti-corruption. But by EFCC account, they found 389 million naira in the account of Governor Fayose. And I ask you, even there are people that are there are people that have been accused that they bought 2 houses in Dubai, and they said they used their savings to buy the houses now. So the money in the account of Fayose is also his savings. And if Fayose is accused of buying, if they are saying he has properties, was Fayose not having property before he became governor in 2003? Was he not living comfortably because he became governor?
There appears to be a division between unions representing oil workers in Nigeria. This comes ahead of a planned strike to protest what has been described as unfair treatment of oil workers. The Southwest chairman of the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Mr. Tokunbo Okorodo, said a meeting with representatives of the federal government, which was scheduled to take place today, has been postponed to July 11th. Innocent Nupeng remains open to the option of dialogue to ensure Nigerians are not made to suffer unnecessary. But Pengason's National Public Relations Officer, Emmanuel Ojubana, has confirmed to Channels Television that all is now set for the planned strike action. Joining me now to examine the situation is the General Secretary of Pengason, Mr. Lumumba Okubawa. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
So what's this fresh strike action about?
As I said, there are a lot of challenges to the industry, and in all industries, and the oil and gas is not different. And based on the global oil price and everything, the challenges has even increased and even multiplied more than that. So there will always be friction, and we need to put our own input on how we feel we should be best managed.
Will this have anything to do with the reforms in the oil sector that what Pengason discussed with the government way back in March, as you told me earlier?
Yeah. In fact, since before 2014, we issued a threat that the government should wake up and to its responsibilities. And there was a communique signed that March 12, 2014. And a lot of issues were raised, the issue of TAM, the issue of PIB, the oil theft and pipeline vandalism, which has crippled the industry, and the environmental degradation. And there was an understanding with government. The communique was signed and said, okay, let's wait. A time frame was given. But I tell you, up to now, nothing tangible has been done. And we felt it was maybe because of the elections that were coming. And that's Jonathan administration. So, but up to when the new government came, we gave them time, and then we gave a roadmap that the presidency and the government, this is what we feel can move the nation and the oil and gas forward. And you know what the oil and gas accounts for in terms of our revenue. So if it collapses, it collapses on everybody, not just the oil workers and all.
Are you in the slightest bit worried about what impact this strike action will have on ordinary Nigerians, considering that Pengason and Nupeng always seem to go on the strike action, seemingly on the strike action, at the slightest provocation?
I would not say that we jump to a strike action. In fact, that's our last option. And you can go back and count how many strike actions we've embarked upon these past few years. So the strike action is to attract the attention of government to a roundtable discussion.
Okay.
I would know the impact it will have on people, but I think painful pills cure better than even sweet pills.
So you're insistent on going ahead with this strike?
The strike has started, as I said.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Okubawa, for joining us on the News at 10.
You're welcome.
In part 2, after the break, broadcast chiefs gather in Lagos to assess the progress and challenges in the industry. That's coming up in a moment. Please stay with us.